Alright, guys, today I'm going to go over our UFC 320 picks. Uh, you guys can look at my last video. I showed the profits. We're doing pretty good so far for a month and a half. I think we like 9x from $10. And we're looking to do even better this UFC. We're actually like looking pretty profitable this time around too, actually. So let's get started with Veronica Hardy versus Brogdon Walker. This is pretty easy. Veronica Hardy is just not 37 years old. I'm going to say Veronica Hardy by decision because she does love a decision, and Brogdon Walker is not easy to finish. I think the only finish she's ever lost to was like a TKO or something like that. Veronica Hardy, I mean, she'll probably just like pitter patter on the outside. She's just quicker. She's just like she's got the better physicality in my mind. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy pick. Veronica Hardy by decision. And as I've said before, there's a difference between a pick and a prediction. I'm gonna say picks are always something you should put money on. Predictions are just what I think will happen. Okay, so we've got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. I'm not going to put a pick on this fight simply because Brahimaj is like on a 2-fight winning streak against like Mickey Gall, but still he's like significantly younger, whereas Vanderford is 35 years old and he only beat Veretennikov, who's not that good. But I do think Vanderford will win this fight. I'm going to predict Vanderford by decision, let's say. But I don't think this is a safe thing to put your money on. And next we have Soriano versus Veretennikov. I'm going to go with Punahele Soriano. And here's why. Because Veretennikov is absolutely, like, I wouldn't say he's dog shit, but he's very low level. Like, he does all this, like, spinning shit, and he, like, doesn't stop even when getting takedown after it. Like, I just think he's a very low fight IQ fighter, whereas Soriano has the ability to actually use his brain when fighting. I am kind of scared because Veretennikov does have big power, but I do think Soriano is better than him in like every aspect in terms of skill, right? He's better on the ground, he's got better jiu-jitsu, he's got slicker striking. So I'm going to go with Soriano money line against Veretennikov. And we move on to Patchy Mix versus Jakub. Jakub Wicklach. Okay, I'm not gonna have a pick on this, but I'm just gonna say Patchy Mix should win this by decision because he's just a better version of Jakub. But you never know. You might just shit the bed again. Right? Looking like he's holding in a fart the whole time. Jakub, he's got like the most goofy shit ass striking, whereas Patchy Mix has actually gone like 5 rounds against pretty good strikers, and I don't think Mario Bautista is actually bad at all. But Patchy Mix looked like dog shit, but still, I'm gonna say Patchy Mix should win this via like either a submission or like a decision or something like that. He's just a better version of this Jakub guy. I don't think Jakub is like UFC worthy from what I've seen. He's got three losses and it's only in KSW, right? Whereas Patchy Mix has lost to like one dude and Mario Bautista. That's pretty good. So no pick, but Patchy Mix, let's say by submission. Next we have Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos, or whatever the fuck her Russian last name used to be. This is pretty easy. Macy Chiasson's going to fight against the winner of Nunes versus, what's that man's name? Kayla Harrison. Yeah, Macy Chiasson is simply just better. She's more physical. She's bigger. She's not 35. She's 34, but she's not, like, aged like crazy. She's looking pretty good. She's got some good grappling. She's got pretty slick striking, in my opinion. I'm going to say Macy Chiasson money line against Yana Santos. So we move on to Daniel Santos versus Yuju Sang. I do like this fight. Daniel Santos is a very, like, he's a very hyped up prospect, but I do think that Yuju Sang will win this, and I will actually pick him money line. Yuju Sang has the ability to step back, and he's got some really good distance control. Sure, he beat that fucking Indian guy who's like a really low level fighter, but that doesn't mean he's a shit fighter, right? Whereas Daniel Santos, he's got the style to where he has to get in somehow. And look at the reach. Like, they're very different, or they're the same height, but they got very different reaches. I think Yuju Sang will have the ability to manage the distance and keep him on the outside and force Daniel Santos to rush in, maybe shoot a takedown or something like that. And Yuju Sang will be able to step back and counter really nicely. I think this is a pretty somewhat safe pick, especially for an underdog. I'm going to say Yuju Sang money line, and I'm going to predict that he wins by fucking TKO in the first or second, because I really do believe in this guy. This guy's pretty good. He beat Jekka Sergi, that's who it was, who lost to Anshul Jubilee, but still. We're back in Yuju Sang, alright? And now we move on to Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. I mean, I think the Basharat bros are really overrated. And I think Farid is not crazy good, but he's not Chris Gutierrez. Chris Gutierrez has a leg kick, and he's 34 years old. Farid Basharat, he's got good striking, but he might be like the weakest, least the power I've ever seen in a fighter before. But you know what? Fuck it. Like, he's got really long limbs, and he's much younger, and he's much more skilled in the grappling. He's got good kicks to the body. I mean, they don't really do too much, but they look good on scorecards, don't they? And Farid Basharat will probably be able to take down Chris Gutierrez. I'm going to say Farid Basharat by decision. That's my pick. I don't think Chris Gutierrez has much to offer besides the leg kicks. And I think Farid Basharat is smart enough to... He's not smart enough to check him. Let's get that straight. But he is smart enough to do something about them, like shoot for a takedown and make him aware that he will get punished for leg kicks, or maybe stick out a jab or something like that. So yeah, Farid Basharat by decision. And next we have Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. I really don't want to put money on Edmund Shabazian, but you know what? Fuck it, right? You only live once. Edmund Shabazian, money line. And Andre Muniz is just washed. He's 35. He's got a longer reach, but he doesn't feel like he's as long, right? He got slept by like Ikram Aliskerov, like looking at him. And Shabazian, he's beat like Pachinski. He's not that bad, right? Whereas Muniz, his best win was, like, especially recently, it was against the Iron Turtle, and that's a pretty good win. But the Iron Turtle is more of a slow starter, and he has I feel like the main thing that's holding him back is the fact that he's not fighting 5-rounders, or he's not fighting to win the second round. And a lot of the times he loses a split decision because he didn't do enough in the second round. And he'll always win the third round. And Andre Muniz was able to put on the pressure in the first round and a half. I do think Edmund Shabazian is not 35, and I think he'll be able to beat Andre Muniz in a decision. But I am going to pick Shabazian money line, simply because I'm not trusting Muniz's chin. And next we have... This fight was canceled. But if it were to happen, let's say Ateba Gautier by first round knockout, that's what I would pick. But it didn't happen. And we'll see if he'll get a replacement. I'll probably put a comment on the video if he does get a replacement, and you'll see what my pick is. But it'll most likely be like some really low level middleweight, or maybe like someone from a different promotion just getting fucked up by this guy in first round. Whatever. I mean, that'll be fun to watch. But now we have the main card. And this is a pretty good main card. I like this. And we have Joe Pyfer versus Abus Magomedov. I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer money line. Abus Magomedov, they both have issues in the cardio, but Joe Pyfer, it's literally because he swings all of his fucking might into his left hand or his overhand. Whereas a boost, he literally just like, I don't know, he has like a smaller lung capacity or something. Joe Pyfer, he's better than a boost in every single field except for maybe he's not as good in the jiu-jitsu. Joe Pyfer's got really good grappling. He's got pretty solid wrestling. He's very powerful, and he's able to like get a second win a lot of the time, especially against Calvin Gastelum, who will never like get knocked out, straight up knocked out really. Joe Pyfer was able to weather a big storm from Kelvin Gastelum. I'm gonna say Joe Pyfer moneyline, simply because a boost he might just get TKO'd in the same way. If he got TKO'd by Sean Strickland, it's definitely possible that Joe Pyfer will do that. But I'm scared that Joe Pyfer will throw everything in the first round and a half, and then just like cruise the next round and a half, right? The last round and a half. Joe Pyfer, but I feel like Joe Pyfer's skill will allow him to just win a decision. He might lose a round, but I don't see him losing 2 rounds. And we'll see what Joe Pyfer will do as a ranked fighter. So I'm going to say Joe Pyfer moneyline. I will predict Joe Pyfer will knock his ass out in the second round, though. And next we have Yusuf Bilal versus Josh Emmett. All right, so Josh Emmett is 40, but he's not like a super old 40. Yusuf Bilal is like, he has skills, but he's very like tentative with what he does. I'm not thinking Josh Emmett will get taken down simply because he's a giant ball of meat and he has that low center of gravity type of takedown defense like Alexander Volkanovski. Whereas Yusuf Bilal, he doesn't have the physicality advantage over Josh Emmett, obviously. Josh Emmett is like a gigantic roid monster at 145. But Yusuf Bilal has the ability to be a fucking bitch and just skirt around the outside and just hit him with a jab, maybe a jab to the body, jab to the head. Wow, like what a combination, right? And Josh Emmett, he doesn't chase that much. He doesn't chase as much as he used to, especially. Like watching that Lerone Murphy fight, and that was a pretty okay performance, but it really felt like, okay, Josh Emmett needs the opponent to like really commit to something like a Bryce Mitchell takedown kind of deal. Whereas Yusuf Bilal does not commit to something. He was pussying out against Calvin Kattar. And Calvin Kattar does not have big power anymore. So I'm going to say Yusuf Bilal will win. We're going to say Yusuf Bilal by decision. I think this is a pretty safe pick. Yusuf Bilal is just going to like go around the outside and just hit him with some pitter-patter leg shots and get booed out the fucking building, right? And he's not going to submit Josh Emmett because I don't think he can be able to take him down. But Josh Emmett, I don't think he has the ability to like set up a hard shot like he used to. But I think he still does have his chin, even though he's 40 years old. We might see a Josh Emmett retirement, or maybe even him announcing that he's going to move up weight, because I don't think 145 is for him anymore. I don't think he has a lot to offer in this weight class as a 40-year-old overhand merchant. Okay, so now we have... this is my main event right here. Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree. If y'all didn't know, Yuri Prochazka probably right now my favorite fighter to watch. And we are picking Yuri Prochazka to win. I'm just going to say money line because Khalil Rountree actually has a pretty solid chin. There actually is a lot of value in putting Yuri Prochazka by decision. If you want, you can put that in. I'm not sure if I will. So for now, we're just going to say Yuri Prochazka money line. Khalil Rountree, I think his cardio is actually underrated. I think people just talk shit about it because he was in Salt Lake City and he went to the 4th round. Yuri and Khalil aren't going to the fourth round. But we're gonna see Khalil use his leg kicks a lot. Maybe use those obliques because Yuri stands in such a wide stance. But I don't think there's very much that Khalil will be able to offer like regularly. Whereas Yuri Prochazka will always be in his fucking face, right? He's gonna do all those like crafty like elbows and overhands, and he's gonna stick his jabs. I think Yuri will not have the speed advantage, but I will think he has the timing to clip Khalil and make Khalil aware that like I cannot just jump in with my like African American speed like always, right? Like we're not fighting Jamal Hill over here. And I think Yuri Prochazka will absolutely win in like a clinch situation or like a more chaotic situation. We'll see Khalil like really get pushed against the pressure, and we might see Khalil like throw overhands, like really big overhands. But it seems like when Yuri is like prowling, he's almost never like hurt. Like he can take a punch just to land something twice as hard, even if he doesn't have the speed advantage. Or even the power advantage. But I do think Yuri has the power advantage against Khalil Rountree. I think Khalil Rountree, like the reason why he knocks people down and knocks people out so hard, I think it's because they just don't see it happening because he's just so fast. But that's really all he has against Yuri Prochazka. Of course, I'm going to be fucking shitting myself watching this. I don't want to see Yuri Prochazka lose ever. Especially, I don't want to see him get knocked out. But I really believe in Yuri, and I do think Yuri Prochazka will knock out Khalil Rountree. And Khalil Rountree is a tough nut, right? He had that war against, one-sided war against Alex Pereira, and he was really still trying to throw as hard as he could while he was really hurt. And I think he'll try to do that against Yuri. And Yuri will do that classic thing where he's going to fucking beat on someone as he's hurt, right? He did it against Rakic, he did it against Jamal, he did it against, like, Uzdemir. I think Yuri will use his finishing instincts. I think Yuri has better finishing instincts than Khalil Rountree, by the way. I don't think Khalil Rountree's finishing instincts are just that good. I think that he's just brutal in it. Whereas Yuri has the ability to like slip counters and really push the pace. So yeah, I'm going to say Yuri Prochazka will win. I might put it in the comments later whether I put moneyline, TKO, or decision in. Just know that for now, I'm going to just put Yuri Prochazka. And I'm going to predict that he knocks his ass out. And next we move on to Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. This is a pretty easy pick. The only thing I'm pondering about is whether Merab will submit Corey Sandhagen or he'll take him to a decision. Corey Sandhagen's an okay 5-round fighter. Like, he does go 5 rounds. He had that 5 round against Umar, and he looked pretty good. Of course, Umar's just a higher skilled fighter. But skill really doesn't matter when you're fighting against Merab. Of course, like, a lot of the fighters Merab fights against are much more skilled than Merab himself. Like, obviously, Umar is better than Merab in the striking and the wrestling. It's just that Merab has the pressure, the cardio, I guess, like, the champion's mindset advantage to really, like, solidify a decision. And I think Corey Sandhagen will crumble in the last 3 rounds. Whether he crumbles as in losing a really bad decision or gets submitted, I have no clue. So I'm just going to say Merab moneyline. I think that's the safest thing to say. I might put in the comments once again whether I'm going to say Merab by decision. But I don't think Corey Sandhagen is to this level. He only got this title shot over beating Figgy because Sandhagen didn't get dominated like Petr Yan did. But I think Merab, there's not any way besides like a stupid fluke flying knee I could see Corey Sandhagen win. So yeah, Merab money line for now, and I'm going to predict that Merab wins by decision. And next we have Alex Pereira versus Magomedov Ankalaev. There's no way I'm gonna ever pick Alex Pereira for this ever again. Magomedov Ankalaev is just a bad matchup for Alex Pereira, no matter how you put it. He's a southpaw who's got very good boxing, and I mean offensive boxing, and he's very good on the front foot and will shoot a takedown once he gets once the, I guess, going forward stops, because he wants the opponent on the back foot always. We might see a more aggressive Alex Pereira, and I guess that's scary, but he's 38 years old, and he's got very good takedown defense. But that's literally not what Magomedov Ankalaev wants, or what he needs, rather, with shooting a takedown. He just wants the opponent going backwards. Alex Pereira has honestly pretty shit boxing defense. It's literally because he's such a long fighter, and he keeps his distance really well and really tries to time someone with a left hook. But Magomedov Ankalaev, he really gets in your face and boxes you, hits you with the body shots, with the straight right hands, with the looping punches. And I don't think the leg kicks will be anything anymore. I think Alex Pereira I think his leg kicks aren't going to work as well this time around. Or he's not going to do them as much this time around, because he knows that Magomedov Ankalaev is aware of his problem of not being able to, or that one fight with Jan Blachowicz where leg kicks were a big problem for him. I think Alex Pereira is going to change his game plan to a more boxing heavy, try to hit you with a really big shot type of approach. And I don't think Magomedov Ankalaev is dumb enough to really brawl with him when Alex Pereira has to. I think this is a pretty easy fight to pick. I'm going to say Magomedov Ankalaev by decision. I think Alex Pereira is somewhat chinny, but I don't think he's going to be I don't think Magomedov Ankalaev's got big enough power to where he's just going to murder Alex Pereira. And I think Alex Pereira will be able to weather a storm if it happens. And we might see them both crack each other at some point. But I think Magomedov Ankalaev wins the exchanges. And I think he'll have more opportunities to crack Alex Pereira than vice versa. So I'm going to go with Magomedov Ankalaev by decision. So pretty quick video this time around. I just wanted to make this real quick because I got fractions to worry about, you know what I'm saying? So and I hope we become profitable this time around. I think this card is actually very profitable. But we'll see. See ya.